Well, you can have this too. I have one
We're
of those.
rolling regardless.
This
No,
is an open
it
meeting
didn't.
on, this is an open meeting under section 19.81 to 19.98 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. You all have last month's meeting minutes. Do we have to correct anything?
Not if Sarah and I did our jobs.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes by Joel,
Second.
second by Scott. All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Monthly staff reports.
Sarah had actually put together something a little above and beyond for me. I don't have it physical for you, as opposed to me dissecting your monthly report. So the month of April is the first month of summer registration with the guide coming out, and she had put together some stats for us. So last year, online registration for the month of April totaled $28,947. This year, we totaled $41,350, and that was just for online registration for our programming. The first day of online registration alone, we made as much as all of April last year. So we had 22,558 with 425 individual activities registered for on April 19th of this year. So online registration has been good for us. This year we had 80 playground registrations for playground camp for $6,900. Last year we had 57 for $4,337. Swim lessons, indoor lessons. Swim lessons this month, indoor lessons, 122 classes registered for $5,690. Last year we had 86 classes for $4,145. For outdoor lessons this year we had 894 classes registered for a total of $13,000. Last year we had 262, so we went from 262 outdoor swim lesson registrations to 894. I wonder if she had a typo there because the money total is different. But anyway, needless to say, we did well with our online registration. And then a quick report with our silver memberships. We broke $6,000 in payments for silver memberships for the month of March. That would be a new high for us. This was the most we've had in a month. It wasn't that long ago that $4,000 in a month was big news. Most recently, about the last 5 months, we were breaking $5,000. Now, of course, with the summer months coming up, those numbers will drop. We won't have as many silver members checking in, so that'll probably drop to below 4,000 again. But once fall picks up, those numbers will begin to rise again, and Sarah predicts we would see 6,000 again probably in January. But needless to say, I know the budget didn't call for us to get 6,000 in a month, so that's a good thing. So some good news on some online registration and silver memberships there.
Randy, what would you estimate with the online registration versus in-person? What do you think we're saving on staffing hours?
Well, I mean, we're not because we haven't changed our staffing hours at all. But if you mean as far as workload and what they're able to do, it would be tough to put a percentage on it. But I know now we have that third person working. Donna's working in the mornings. I know sometimes it's making sure that she has enough to do. It's been nice because it's allowed Lauren to break away from the desk. We have purchased a laptop that Lauren has utilized in one of the cubicles, so she's able to focus on her work, whether it's marketing or youth ball. She's done quite a bit of that with scheduling and putting together rosters. and she's personally thanked me for that. I know how tough it is when you're working on something, you get interrupted, and when you're working the front desk. So I would imagine the quality of our work is going to be up too. Melanie's too new to notice it, but we'll get less mistakes, less questions on schedules and whatnot of what Lauren has been working on for us.
Sure.
So yes, to answer your question, I would say some person hours have been saved.
Excellent. Any questions on the reports? Any specific areas, guys? All right, communication and correspondence. First is a donation from the Hartford Community Service.
Do we want to? Oh yeah, sorry. My fault. Yes, Hartford Community Service, Inc. donation. So Hartford Community Service, Inc., which is the haunted house, they had traditionally donated towards our Monster Run. I talked to them about donating towards our new pre-holiday parade running event, which they have. They've donated $1,500 towards that event. So most of that will go to cover shirts for our runners. Now this event will be a United Way fundraiser, as I'm one of the chairs. We're working with the chamber as well. The chamber is looking for some more sponsorships so that all overhead costs will be covered. So that way, every cent of the registrations we receive will go straight to the United Way. So I want to thank Hartford Community Services, Inc. for their donation.
Excellent. And Wisconsin Tennis Association grant.
So I had applied for a Wisconsin Tennis Association grant for up to $750. We did receive that, so we were fronted $375. This money will go towards the replacement of the tennis backboard at Willowbrook Park. Crew had pointed it out to me that it was in rough shape, and they were right. It's in very rough shape, so that money's going towards that. I'm also applying for an additional USTA grant for up to $5,000 to try to get that replaced this year yet. So I want to thank the WTA for that grant.
Excellent. No appearances of public comments, no old business. We're on to new business, and we're going to start with administration, but I'm just going to give people a heads up here. We're going to move item D up after item A on your schedule here. And then we'll follow with item B. But just giving you a heads up before we get to that.
Zach needs to get to some regular work, so we're going to try to get him out here.
We're not eliminating anything, we're just shifting things around here on the agenda. All right, first thing under new business administration is a mayoral appointment to the commission.
Which would be Mr. Kohler has been appointed, so congratulations for that. No one else's terms were up, so this is a rare year where no one else had to be appointed, but I told Joel personally, I'll say publicly that I'm happy you're back.
I'm glad to be back.
You're
You put up with me long enough. So we got some more time.
You're strict but fair.
Fortunate to have you, Joel.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, next is election of officers, the most fun time of the calendar year for Park and Rec meetings. So are there any nominations from the floor for the office of President of the Hartford Park and Recreation Commission?
I'll nominate Todd Resniak, President.
All right, thank you for the nomination, Scott. I'll accept. Are there any other nominations for the office of President from the floor? Are there any other nominations for the office of President from the floor? There being none, all in favor of me as President of the Park and Rec Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are there any nominations from the floor for the office of Vice President of the Hartford Park and Recreation Commission?
I'll nominate Scott Held for the vice president or vice chair, whatever the position's called.
Scott, will you accept the nomination?
Yes.
All right. Are there any other nominations from the floor for the office of Vice President? Any other nominations from the floor for the office of Vice President? There being none, I'll close the nomination process. All in favor of Scott as Vice President of the Park and Recreation Commission for the City of Hartford, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Scott.
Good job, Scott.
All right. Should we move to aquatics right now?
Let's move to aquatics right now, and then we can double back to the fitness.
All right, so aquatics and staff reports, we'll start with Vex Aquatic Center and Zach.
Yep. So first thing was summer schedule. Do you guys have the activity guide in front of you? So if you go to page 4, that has the outlay of our schedule for the VMAC this summer. The preseason, which are our first 2 days, are June 3rd and 4th. We're just open that weekend, then we're closed Monday through Wednesday since high school's still in session. I can't really get staff those days. So we'll be reopening for the season on June 8th, and that'll run until August 27th. And then that last week is our normal postseason hours, which is around 11:30 to 4. But the rest of that, it's the same typical hours, 12:30 to 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Staff starts at 12:30, and then we have our morning hours too, which you can see on there. It includes river walking, toddler swim, and swim lessons, which I'll be talking about here in a little bit.
I'm going to jump in for a second there,
Yep.
Zach. Just with the schedule, I want to stress the June 2nd will be our opening date. There had been some questions about not being open Memorial Day weekend. Weather history and even though we have very good staffing numbers, getting that staff to work that holiday weekend is very difficult. And then again, the traditional weather and our overall numbers when we have been able to open up Memorial Day weekend have not been strong. So I just wanted to put that in there for some of the questions we had been receiving about the schedule. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
No problem. One change with our normal hours is Thursday night swim. It used to be 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It's now 7:30 to 9:30. So moving up 30 minutes changes it from an hour gap in between open swim to night swim to only 30 minutes. That'll give our staff time to have a break. Along with that, we changed the pricing a little bit. In the past, it's been just normal admission for daily fees, so that could get up to $9 with non-residents. We lowered that to $3 and $4. One thing we noticed last year is we readmitted for free after open swim, so if you came to open swim, you got a stamp, and then you could come back for free. We've changed that now with the reduced cost. This $3 to $4, everyone has to pay unless they have a season pass. So season passes can get in just with their pass like normal open swim. Everyone else has to pay the $3 to $4. So there's no free readmittance. So speaking of swim pass, those sales, they became available on the 1st, which was Monday. We have an early bird sale throughout May, $5 off for the individual pass, and then $10 off for family passes. And those can be purchased at the rec center during office hours throughout the week.
Zach?
Yep.
Going back to that Thursday night deal with the no free readmission.
Mm-hmm.
So did you say you gave them a stamp?
Last year we did. We had just a little star stamp that people could get on their way out. We made an announcement around 4 o'clock that people can get that on their way out.
So you don't make that announcement, you don't stamp the hands?
Yep.
End of story.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, swim lessons now. You can look at page 10 in the activity guide. That kind of outlines all the classes we're offering as well as all the sessions we're offering. And to back Randy's thought of it being a typo, it was. It's 294 classes have been registered, or students have been registered, not 894.
Your eyes about fell out of the page when you got that number.
Yep. But that's still an improvement. It's 10% increase in registrations from last year, which is great. And then the first session for the outdoor pool is June 12th. And then I'll jump ahead a little bit to Signacast since we're talking about swim lessons. That's also on page 10 in the purple, I believe. There's 48 classes we're offering in that one, and it's already a 40% increase in registrations from last year at this point. And then the first session for that starts May 15th, which is in 2 weeks. So, and then
Before you jump ahead, program supervisor reports, I've put that for both Zach and for Melanie. That's something new. Just so you commissioners can get a better idea of what their day-to-day tasks kind of look like, what they've been focusing on. You're all smart people, so you pretty much know what they are, but we're going to give them an opportunity to put it in their own words, because I'm sure there's some things that don't get realized that they're working on and whatnot. But so go ahead, Zach.
All right, so my supervisor report, I'm going to start with what we've been doing at the Vets Pool. Brian, Mike, we have had Sam pre-cord out there too. We've been prepping it, getting the leaves out of the shell of the pool. I've been out there pressure washing. I'm about 60% done, hoping to get that done tomorrow. The plan is to fill the main pool on Friday, starting on Friday. So that'll give us time to check and see if there's anything we need to get fixed, but that's definitely ahead of previous years when we've filled. The Lazy River side of things will be filled around the third week of May. We can kind of hold back on that a little bit later since it doesn't take as long to prepare. On top of that, throughout May, we have additional stuff on the deck and in the building that's going to be cleaned by myself, maintenance staff, and my pool managers and college staff that are coming back. So that's all the preparation for VMAC we've been doing. Another thing I've been really working on is creating a new program for our private swim lessons. We've had an extensive wait list. Right now it's at about 37, and that's been above 25 for the last year and a half. So I saw that as a big problem when I came in. So what I'm doing is I created a new almost time slot for swim lessons on Wednesdays in the morning, where we have one instructor with 5 different time slots throughout the morning, and I'm calling the people on the wait list to fill in those time slots. It's the same price as normal swim lessons. This is just a trial because I have Abby Simon, who's a great instructor, coming back for the summer. I'm going to get her thoughts on it as she does it, and then hopefully this is something we can implement throughout the year. I think it's going to be a great way to get rid of a lot of the people on the wait list so that they can get lessons for their kids.
Nice.
And then the final thing on my report, swim teams in the area. We have Lake Country, West Bend Swim Club, and Rocket Aquatics. Currently finalizing contracts with those 3 teams to rent our pools. Based on our budget, with the hours that they're going to be renting, we're going to be going well above that. So what we were expecting, which is great news on that side. And yeah, that's all from my supervisor report.
All right, do we have something else to cover under Signacast and the swim lessons, or no?
No, that was all, just the increase in that it starts in 2 weeks.
Okay. And then let's jump up to fitness classes and get you out of here.
All right, so if you look at page 22 through 24 in your activity guides, that covers all the adult fitness classes, including water aerobics and our silver classes, sneakers, water aerobics. There's also other classes such as yoga, spinning, TRX. Basically, a pretty similar selection to our past offers in summer. We have a couple that we got rid of just because of bad attendance numbers in the past, but we're looking forward to adding more in the future for summer and fall. And then all of our instructors, they've been fantastic so far, and they're looking forward to it.
Any questions for Zach on his reports here? Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it. All right, we already tackled summer activity guide unless you got something else to tackle there, Randy?
No, obviously you guys were given it, so that's there in front of you. It's obviously hard copies at the rec center, also electronic copies online on the city's website.
Okay. And summer fun tickets.
Summer fun tickets I wanted to mention. I gave you guys a separate handout because the books were printed wrong. This is not our error. I want to make sure we point that out. But the attractions had changed their mind after we went to print. So a week after we printed it was when we got the update. So the loose leaf sheet that I gave you has the updated version. Now, the online version of the book will have the proper numbers, but unfortunately, it'll be probably a long summer with differences in some of the pricing. But I wanted to reiterate that it wasn't the fault of the office.
All right, and we'll move on to rec programs and activities and summer playground camp report. Melanie.
All right, so for summer playgrounds, we did set it low originally, just because we didn't have very many applications coming in for our program. So we did fill up with 22 kids per week or per session. And then there also are wait lists of 10 plus on almost every week. So numbers are looking really good. Plus side is that applications have started coming in. So just had to wait a little bit longer. We are planning on adding everyone that's on the wait list to it soon. And then upping registration to hopefully about 35, 40 kids. So we can kind of get a little bit more cushion. Last year, the most we had was 50. Hopefully we can, get up there again. Hopefully, the staff I hire and the staff that I can find can, hold that many. So we're looking forward to that part. But yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there quicker. So, yeah.
And program supervisor report.
So one of the big things I've been working on is playgrounds, trying to get the staff hired, staff in there. I've been trying to plan out some of our trainings with them so they can be prepared for the summer. In addition, I've been trying to help with marketing some of the other positions that we have. So we had youth ball coordinator open, always the umpires, our playground staff, things like that I've been kind of helping Lauren with marketing as much as I can. We did just hire a new youth ball coordinator, so that's great. That happened today. But that's one of the things I've been working on a lot especially this last month. Also in April, we had 2 of our 3 nights of coaches meetings for youth ball. So I have 1 left, which is in 2 weeks. And then hopefully it's a little bit more smooth sailing from there. Less questions, all the stuff out. And then including that with the youth ball, I've been very busy trying to find some people to play with for our oldest team. So our oldest team for softball, the 12-14. So we had a team and Slinger had a team, but Jackson, Richfield, all the other communities that we play with didn't. So I did reach out to Rubicon, and our teams are able to actually have a season this year by playing Rubicon, Iron Ridge, and Slinger. So I did get the season together, so they aren't playing Slinger 12 times throughout the summer. Still a lot, but it's a little bit less. So we're getting there on that too. So that's what I've been kind of working on. A lot of youth ball and playgrounds.
All right, update on the golf simulator.
So yes, in your packets, you see the rendering that was provided by Foresight. They had sent that to us, so myself, Brian, and then AJ from our maintenance staff went and did walkthrough, measured it out. We'd come to find that we knew we needed to raise the ceiling. And then above the tiles, we found water piping as well as a ceiling drain in the corner that you see of your rendering there. Now, we could have shifted it a little bit to the left, but with our research, we had found that the opposite corner, so when you see the 2 windows there, just flipping it to the other side of the room there, the other window, we have a clean ceiling underneath there. So our new rendering, it's all the same specifications, distances, measurements. It just shows it in the opposite corner there. The only thing we really lose is with the original corner we had it in here. It was nice that, hey, we would have been able to have the two side by side. You know, and if I'm going to be real with everyone, I don't know the likelihood that we'll need that. You know, I hope I'm wrong, but we can cross that bridge when we get to it. As far as visually, it's kind of nice because now you walk into the room and now you can see right into the simulator itself instead of trying to peek around the corner at it as well. So all the parts, as far as we know, have arrived. They are at the rec center. And I verified the layout specifications that we were given here. I contacted Foresight, and now we're going to schedule a date and time where they come in and they will do the install. That's part of the contract that we signed with them. Ryan was relieved to find that out. Freed up some time for him and his staff. Still have a little bit of prep work to do with running electrical and then adjusting the ceiling for proper height. But not sure when they'll be able to get out. If I had to guess, they're probably 2 to 4 weeks out with install. And company's based out of California. I'm not saying that's where our installer will come from, but so that's where we're at this point. Little behind where I wanted to be, but at the same time, I'm still excited of the progress we've made with it.
Mm-hmm. Any questions for Randy on that? All right, and I apologize, Melanie. Any questions for Melanie on her program supervisor report?
How are you doing on umpires?
We have a handful. I feel like we could always use more. I know I have two more that's interested that I've contacted but haven't handed in applications yet. And then the youth ball coordinator used to be an umpire, so I kind of, I didn't lose her, but I kind of lost her in the way of, hopefully she doesn't have to umpire all summer.
But could fill
Yeah.
Yes, that's the nice part. I had attended the job fair last week at the high school when the students found out they could make $30 a game and possibly more, although I didn't realize the training had already happened. So
Yeah,
it would be $30 a game, but that's still a pretty good number to those kids. So I handed out quite a few applications. I can only guess and hope that's where you're getting those contacts from, but so that was beneficial.
Like Voight and I ran a clinic for, was supposed to be Rubicon and Iron Ridge kids. And Tanya Berg had sent out invites and whatnot for this past Sunday night. Disappointed to see we only had 2 people show up, 2 kids show up for the clinic. But I gave them your contact information and
Great. Thank you.
we'll see what happens. For some reason, I thought the clinic might be coming up this weekend or the weekend after. So if they contact you and want to know about the clinic, that's where that came from,
Okay.
but
problem.
hopefully they make their way to you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, do we have a report on youth ball?
I mean, you basically did it, or do you got more?
I kind of pretty much did it. The practices were supposed to start this week. A little cold, a little rainy last couple days. Hopefully they got in today. But other than that, kind of everything they already said, the meetings and everything. Games start at the end of May, beginning of June. So
Okay.
we're getting there.
And you're all set for coaches for the most part? I know we've done some shuffling, but
Yep. Other than for our 5-6 T-ball, we could use one more. I've contacted all the parents. Hopefully one steps up once season starts and kind of is like, oh, I guess I could do this. So hoping for the best on that.
Okay. All right, that brings us down to item E on the agenda, parks and staff reports there. First up is Centennial Park update.
so those of you that were in attendance or watched the previous council meeting, John Griffin had announced that the earthwork has stopped on the site due to elevated contaminants that have been found in the soil there. So for us to continue work out there, we need to have a agreement for a remediation plan with the DNR. Basically, the only real option is to remove the contaminated soil and bring in fresh fill. So that was announced to the council about 2 weeks ago. John is working on that plan. He does not feel that work will be halted too long. We're probably looking at about a month to 6 weeks to get that plan approved. And then John will be going to city council looking for the extra funds that it'll take to have that dirt moved out and fresh fill put in. Looking at anywhere between $250,000 to $300,000 to get that taken care of. But the good news is you will still see construction continuing on the pavilion. So we can continue to work there because the soil is considered capped by the concrete surface. So, for example, the library has the same issues, but since it was all concrete, they were able to continue work. So that's what you'll see continuing here. Wall rough-ins for plumbing and electrical, you'll see that in short order here. The block walls will begin this week and continue over the next few weeks. Structural steel in 2 weeks once the block walls are completed. Framing will begin the week of May 22nd. Water service will be installed next week by directional bore from the pavilion to the water main located near the post office on East Wisconsin Avenue. Some minor traffic interruption is expected with that, so be aware of that. So yeah, you will see work continue on the pavilion, but we're halted right for the time being for the earthwork. That said, it really, in my mind, it doesn't delay anything. Even by the original plan, the park would have been completed sometime at best August, early September. And when I say completed, we still need to allow time for the grass to take, the seed to grow. Maybe in the best case scenario, we would have had something late season, but I'm selling it as, hey, now I have a year to plan something decent for when the park season opens next year, which would be a year from now as our parks officially opened on Monday, to have a nice grand opening and get some city partners involved with that. So you can hold my feet to the fire if you're not satisfied with the grand opening, because I had a year to plan for it.
The contamination itself, is it spread out over a large area in the park, or?
For the most part, I mean, some spots are hotter than others, but in general, it's all over the area, correct? The other question I've received, how does this affect the water? It doesn't, or no more than it has, because it's always been there. So it's not something that is new.
All right. And park project report.
In your reports, some of the tasks we've been tackling, unfortunately, we've still been doing snow removal and salting early in the month. Otherwise, we've been doing maintenance on mowers and small equipment, getting ready for the summer season. Again, depending on how you look at it, fortunate and unfortunate burials had been back up. We had a lull there on burials. But unfortunately for us, we do have a budget number we'd like to meet. So Brian's been selling some lots, and we've had some burials over the past month. We moved the bleachers back to Westside Park. Scott had requested that, and I think he even got one extra one that he was planning for. I think he asked for 3. We moved all 4. We had them, so hopefully that's working out for the high school out there. And also we've been prepping bathrooms, preparing for the season to open. Brian, is there anything you wanted to add?
You covered everything, Randy, and it's just the normal startup of the season, learning curve again for a new employee, but the lawn mowing has really kicked in. Even with the snow and the cooler weather, really hasn't slowed it down. It's probably enhanced it as far as the quality of the grass goes, because we were just spot mowing before, even prior to the snow. And now we're almost at about 90% on our mowing structure right now. So, and probably by next week, midweek, we'll be at 100% on our rotation as to how often we'll have to mow. And we don't have all the seasonal staff yet, but I guess it's just the way it is. And we'll do the best that we possibly can. And we really like to spend a little bit more time in the cemeteries because how long it takes to weed eat, pick up debris. Lucky we have our in-service day coming up. That's going to, May 17th is our in-service day, so we'll have a lot of extra help picking up debris and whatnot, but we're going to try to focus on line fence areas that are more visible to the public through our park walkways and the cemeteries for the people for Memorial Weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, so we had one seasonal start already this week. Brian and I had hired another one. We're in conversations with another there. I'm still looking for a building maintenance position, seasonal as well.
One seasonal park and one seasonal buildings maintenance person is what's open.
Last thing I'll mention under our park project report, it's not really I guess it's more of a park staff report. We had our Arbor Day celebration last Friday. Crew had planted a total of 6 trees, but we did our ceremony with 3 trees in relatively the same area in Woodlawn Park. We did that with the local Scout Pack, 3794, I think is their number. I apologize if I messed that up. It was about a dozen people total, 6 kids with the parents came out. Corey Gritzmacher, our volunteer city forester, was out there, did a little nice presentation, and then we had the kids spread the mulch around the trees. Corey did a little how-to and a little education on that, and then had them water it as well. So the DNR should be a little happier with our photo when we submit for our grant money. Last year we had a lone tree with nobody in the photo. Thanks for that, Mike. So this year we got a little more going on. So I wanted to throw that out there too.
Brian, the bathrooms will open up after the holiday weekend for the community?
That is correct. So actually right now we do have, if it's nice out, we have been opening up the restrooms. Randy keeps in contact with the police chief as to make sure that the police department is locking them up. But, now we're just starting to hit a nice phase again, where it pays to maybe progress into that a little bit more. But, if you're out and about around town during the day, it's our parks are getting used. Even when it was cooler, I was surprised to see the amount of people that were in our parks. Willowbrook always seems to be the headliner. It's the one you travel by the most. But there was a pretty significant group of people last week, even with the horrible weather, that were at Woodlawn. So, it's good to see. It really is.
All right, any commission requests tonight? Anything on your mind? All right, there being none, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kate,
I'll second.
a second by Dan. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.